All right, 1 2 1 2. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? I am Frank Red. Once again, you're locked tight in the dungeon for another edition of the program, and I'm going to make a bet with you. I'm going to bet that I will not finish all the things that I want to talk about in an hour. This has been a interesting weekend, interesting sports week for a lot of reasons. A lot of different things are happening in the world of sports, on and off the various playing fields, and we're going to talk about it. Obviously, people are going crazy up in Sacramento right now after firing Mike Brown, the one coach that Sacramento hired who took them to the playoffs after not being in the party for 16 years. In his third year, they fired the guy. I've actually heard people out there try to rationalize why Mike Brown should be fired. I don't want any of it because it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I'm disappointed because it was a knee-jerk reaction, in my opinion. And it hurts the fans. I love the fans of Sacramento. If it wasn't for the fans of Sacramento, there would be no Frank Red. All right? So they're going through a rough patch. As simple as that. And Mike Brown wasn't the best at coach-player relations. I get it. But sometimes it's okay that our players are not happy with the coach. It's all right. They're still getting paid. They have more control over winning than a coach does. So we're going to talk about the Kings. But we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors also, who have gone 3-7 over the past 10 games and have not looked good. Fortunately for them, they were able to get a victory last night against a solid Phoenix Suns team. Regardless if Devin Booker was playing or not, they're still good. They still got two Hall of Fame caliber players in Kevin Durant and Brad Beal. They got excellent coaching. They got a guy, Coach Bud, who won a championship. So anybody who wants to poo-poo the Warriors' win last night over the Phoenix Suns, 109-105, I got news for you. You're wrong. They earned that victory. And they earned it differently than they do some of the best wins that they have. Usually, they get to the finish line, and if they win, it's Stephen Curry who leads them over the top. He was solid last night, 22 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. But it was Jonathan Kuminga who, for the second consecutive game, scored over 30 points. He had 34 last night. And if you know basketball more deeply than the casual fan, you're starting to notice some things about Jonathan Kuminga. First and foremost, the game is slowing down for him. And his decision-making is getting better. And naturally, because he's getting the minutes, he's starting to be able to assess what he can do effectively on the court. I talked about a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I said, wow, this guy's starting to develop some type of mid-range game where he'll go to the mid-post, he'll frame up, he'll take a deep breath, and just kind of power dribble into the defender and rise up for a nice 5, 6, 7 foot shot. It's an unstoppable shot. You cannot stop that shot. And Jonathan is starting to realize that that can be a go-to part of his game. I'm sure the coaches, the teammates have talked to him about it because they're all smart basketball people. But it's his confidence now that is allowing him to start to take advantage of some of the natural skills that he possesses. I've been saying all year that thinking about trading Jonathan Kuminga is a scary proposition. And why is it scary? Because you're never going to get equal value back. Never. It's going to be a loser. So you got two options. Accept that you're not going to get a player as talented as he is, or develop him and come outside of your comfort zone. He's never going to be the best player for Steve Kerr's system. Never. But can he be a very good player in the NBA? Absolutely. So I'm happy that this young fellow's starting to get some shine. Tomorrow will be another test when they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers at Chase. So for once, in the last couple of weeks, Warrior fans have something to feel good about. And even Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has been pretty awful since he's come from Brooklyn. Not his attitude, not his lack of effort. It's just been his game. He's not a good shooter. He's not a good shooter. He's an okay shooter. He's a streaky shooter. What he is a high-level defender. Now, here's the other thing about the coach, Coach Kerr. Fundamentally, this is not a great offense for Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder is a pick-and-roll point guard. He's always been a pick-and-roll point guard his entire career. And if you look at him internationally, he tends to make shots. Why? Because it's 19-9. It's not 23-9. It's an easier shot in the international game. That's his range. So my suggestion is, when Stephen Curry's not in the game, modify your offense and run more pick and roll stuff for Dennis. Because there's certain parts of the court that he is just not effective. Foul line extended on the left side, he's not effective there. He can't shoot from that position. And to see him just go out there and give tremendous effort and not have success is not all his fault. Part of it is coaching. What's your thoughts on it? Now, what's the big story concerning the Warriors that's not about scoring, rebounding, blocking shots? It's about Draymond Green stepping up and demanding accountability for his teammates. Now, I don't want to hear, well, Red, what about what he does when he's not accountable and he gets suspended and stuff like that? That's a different conversation. We can have that conversation if you want to have it. But I want to talk about him biting his teeth, grinding down to a halt for the past 2 weeks, watching Buddy Hield just obliterate this offense. Not because he misses shots, because he takes horrible shots. Somebody had to say it. And Draymond finally said it. And I'm going to tell you something. If this little tiff gets in the way of this team, this is not a good team. And they're not real teammates. And what Buddy Hield was talking about at the beginning of the year about how, this is a wonderful organization. I'm happy to be here. Dude, it's the same organization. It's the same group of teammates. This is Buddy Hield's first opportunity to reshape the perception of his game. And I'm hoping that he can step up and do it. And don't allow this to affect him. Because this is nothing. Good teams have differences all the time. It's okay. Go out there and do your job. Lindy Waters III. I hope it changes because you guys know how I root for people. Lindy Waters III has not looked like an NBA player for about 3 weeks. He gives you a little bit defensively with his size. But offensively, if he played in the G League game, you wouldn't know who he is. Now, you could argue that it's confidence and not talent. I don't know. I just know that when I watch him on my television, I cringe. It's god-awful. It really is. No way should he be playing over Moses Moody. Not in this lifetime, not in any lifetime. should Lindy Waters at this point right now be playing over Moses Moody? I would say put Pat Spencer in the game. Pat Spencer has done nothing but play well when he's had the opportunity. Those are a couple of things that got me hot, all right, based on what I see. But I'm excited that the Warriors got a good win, and I want to see them match up on Monday night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're one game above 500. All the prognosticators out there had the Warriors winning somewhere between 44 and 48 or 49 games. They're still on track to do that. They really are. But they got to get better. They got to build some continuity. And I don't think what Draymond did by yelling at Buddy, cursing at him, was for likes. You know, it wasn't for likes. It was to get the message across that we play winning basketball here. If you're listening for the first time, my name is Frank Red. How y'all doing out there? Like the show, subscribe, definitely hit the like button, and it definitely helps the show to get it out to more people. I will certainly salute you and show gratitude if you do. And sit back and listen to the show. We got a lot to talk about. But those are two things that, off the top, I wanted to mention. I'm going to get back into the Kings because this is not new for the Sacramento Kings ownership group. I've not seen anything from Doug Christie that says that he's a turnaround king. Does he deserve to have an opportunity to be a head coach? Absolutely. Is he ready to go up against these Lions in the Western Conference? I don't think so. You fired a coach who 2 years ago was the NBA unanimous coach of the year. God awful. Let's go out and talk to the great Vicky. Vicky says, my glasses on, Vicky, so I can see. Hi, Frank. Did you see Draymond yell at Buddy yesterday? How far do you think the Bills can make it to KC for the championship game? I'm hoping the Super Bowl, but KC is hard. Yes, I did see Buddy. I did see Draymond yell at Buddy, and I had zero problem with it. Zero. It has to come from a player. It can't come from the coach. People fire coaches all the time. When coaches have impact on the game, particularly the last 4 minutes and how teams prepare. But wins and losses, players have more impact on wins and losses. I'm getting a little scared, Vicky, because, you know, this is almost like Buffalo Bills, Jim Kelly 2.0. This team is ready and capable of winning a Super Bowl. The onus is on them to do it. I don't care if they got to go to KC. Good teams win on the road. It's just as cold in Buffalo as it's Kansas City, maybe even colder. So yes, this is Buffalo's year, to the extent that the opposition, whomever they play in AFC playoffs, they should beat Buffalo. Buffalo should not beat themselves. Vicky says, I'm still mad about Mike. The way they did it was no class. I don't like D Fox anymore. I asked you, who's Walter Walter the Third, and why the Warriors got him? You said you might not suit up for the Warriors. I wish he didn't. Okay, I'm over what Draymond did. Okay. Lindy Waters has a good story, a good come-up story. I root for people. I don't root against people. So I want to see him be successful, right? But I know what an NBA player looks like. Lindy Waters, the third right now, does not look like an NBA player. just doesn't. He has zero confidence. I mean, he's shooting pull-up threes. I hate that offensive sequence where the only person I want to see come down and shoot like just a pull-up three that I can tolerate is Stephen Curry. It was okay for Klay to do it sometimes when Klay was Klay. But I don't want to see that. I know it's a part of their offense, but just because you catch the ball beyond the three-point line, do you have to shoot the three? When your shooting percentage is not good? No, you don't. Drive to the basket. Get a layup. I know Kerr's trying to protect Waters and Buddy Hield and these guys, but think about this. You guys are watching the game. The Warriors are losing a lot of close games. If they got anything at all from their bench, they would be winning these games. As good as Kuminga was last night, it was their defense that won that game. Defense and free throw shooting. That's how they won. I think I've been most impressed about Kuminga's free throw shooting. It's not great, but it's certainly better. Sometimes the truth hurts. Lindy Waters is not playing well. Beyond not playing well, Vicky, he doesn't look like an NBA player. Does not look like an NBA player. And I feel sorry for the kid, for the young man. He's not a kid, for the young man. But you can't put an NBA uniform on and play that poorly. You can't. You can sit on the bench, but if the coach puts you in and you don't play well, the coach has to have some accountability also. You know, so those minutes need to go to Moses Moody. Now, I know Moses Moody was hurt, you know, injured. Maybe he might not play tomorrow night, and I get it. I get it. But put Spencer in the game. Give Spencer a chance. What I want to see from Buddy Hield is I want to see somebody who does not get mad at Draymond for embarrassing him, does not become despondent. I want to see him get closer to the team and understand that, oh, this is what happens on good teams. I want to be on a good team. I wanted to be in a good winning environment my entire NBA career. Now I'm there. And I'm going to show these people that I can play. That's how you win. That's how you win. Can the Warriors send him to Washington? Who are you talking about? Buddy Hield or Lindy Waters? Who you talking about? Can the Warriors send Waters to the D League for a while? Yeah, they could. Yes, they can. But Steve Kerr clearly doesn't want to do that. And I think Kerr doesn't want to send Lindy Waters to the G League for several reasons. His confidence is at an all-time low now. If you send him to the G League, there's a possibility that you can lose him for the rest of the year. His contract may or may not be guaranteed. I don't know. So if you send him to the G League and you lose him and his contract is guaranteed, then that's a bad investment. There's a possibility that he plays better in practice than he does in the game also. So we might be looking at a guy who stage fright when he gets in the game, but in practice he's playing well. We don't know because they're not talking about it. And notice what I said. I didn't say that he's not an NBA player. I said that he doesn't look like an NBA player. Between poor shooting and poor shot selection, it's hard to win when your margin is as low as the Warriors, as small as the Warriors is. Think about the Warriors. It really doesn't matter who they play. They still play these clutch games. They played more clutch games than anybody in the NBA. It's not because they're playing a, quote, good team or a bad team. No. It's their inability to execute on their own. Like they did last night. I mean, like I said, can they beat Cleveland? I don't know if they can beat Cleveland. But they're going to play Cleveland tough. I think they'll be in a position to win. If you got any thoughts about the Warriors, you want to step in, leave your comments in the comment section. Vicky's going off tonight. I love that. The 49ers play the Detroit Lions tomorrow night. And nobody in their right mind would expect the 49ers to win the game. That's not what I'm looking at. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm expecting Debo to play. And I want to see Debo come out and put on a performance like he had last week against Miami. That's all I want to see. I want to see him quiet some of his critics who think that the guy's toast. I don't think he is. I do not. So I want to look at individual players performing. In a year of wide receivers, in spite of what happened to Ricky Pearsall, I want to see him come out and have a game tomorrow night. Because he was terrible last week. And that can't happen. Particularly when you look at a guy like, the kid Coleman, the wide receiver for Buffalo who played at Florida State last year. 49ers could have easily drafted him. He went like 33 or 34 in the second round. Pearsall went what, to 29, 30? Hopefully the 49ers didn't miss on Ricky Pearsall. He has some talent, but how good is he? I want to see him come out tomorrow and have a good game. Dre Greenwald, I'm glad he's not playing. I don't care who plays. I just want to see guys flying around. Brock Purdy, for everybody who's in the Brock Purdy shouldn't play camp, I'm not in that camp. I am not in that camp. I want to see Brock Purdy play well tomorrow night. If it doesn't necessarily manifest into X amount of yards, I want to see him play mistake-free football. No fumbles, no picks, throwing the ball to the right players. Because he wants a bag. I have no problem with him getting a bag. But get a bag because you earn it, not now. Not because what you did 2 years ago. And anybody who says, well, if we don't have Brock Purdy, if he's holding out, if he's not around, that's going to set the team back. I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. There are players out there who can play quarterback, particularly with a really good play caller in Kyle Shanahan. Would I prefer to have Brock Purdy? Yes, I would. Would it be easier for the 49ers? Yes, it would. Going on the premise that this was just an aberration and all of their players are going to get healthy, they're going to come back to camp on time, and they're going to have successful seasons. But do I want to get into a bidding war with Brock Purdy? North of $50 million? No, I don't. And if you think I'm wrong, build your thesis right now. Tell me why this guy should make more than $50 million a year. Simply because that's the market. That's crazy. That's nuts. Nicky says Steph can't do it all. No, he can't. $40 for the Detroit 49ers. The 49ers usually show up on prime time, so I don't think it's going to be just a laughing match. I don't believe that. I think the 49ers are going to show up and play good football. Why? Because they have to. Your job's on the line. But I don't see any reason why Greenlaw, any of the offensive linemen who have been hurt, but Pearsall, Debo, and Purdy, I certainly want to see George Kittle. Kittle has an opportunity to have his 4,000-yard season. To me, he's the team MVP. He deserves it, and I want to see him out there. You know what's been interesting, though, to me? Remember last year when Zach Ertz was bouncing around the 49ers camp? They ultimately did not sign him. I'm like, that's coming back to bite them in the butt. Because the 49ers have not had a legit two tight end offense in quite some time. The combination of a Zach Ertz and George Kittle would have been something for the opposition to think about. Because Philly basically tried to say that Hurts was done. He's not done. He's not done by a long shot. Still has another couple of good years in him. I'm a big fan of his also. I remember him at Stanford. I remember the kid in high school. Went to Monte Vista. Played basketball. I think Brock had said he would take less if the 49ers spend money on other players. That's kind of ornery. I mean, really? I mean, dude, stop. Don't worry about other people's money. Worry about your money. And I think, Vicky, it sounds like there is some altruism there. But let the bean counters do their job. Focus on your job. Focus on your work. He would take less money if they spend it on other players. Dude, don't worry about other players. Other players are going to get cut. Worry about your job. Get your money. Get your bag. Because you deserve it. But that stance in negotiation, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. He's not Tom Brady. We're not even sure that he's going to be the starter 5 years from now. We have no idea. I think he deserves a nice contract offer because this is the NFL. Guarantee $100 million. I wouldn't feel comfortable guaranteeing more than $100 million. I would not. Wouldn't. Would not. Especially when you see a guy like, Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings next year. I believe he is. Minnesota would be, they got a plan. They see J.J. McCarthy every day in practice. Their quarterback room is legit. They got Daniel Jones. They got J.J. McCarthy. They got Sam Darnold. If I'm the 49ers, I'll take any one of those dudes. With a healthy team, improvement around the edges, you got to win the draft. I don't think the 49ers are as far as maybe people think they are. The only team in the 49ers division that I would look at and say are trending are the LA Rams. And the LA Rams will go as far as Matthew Stafford will take them. He's getting older also. I'm not concerned about Seattle. I'm not concerned about Arizona. Hopefully you're not either. He needs an O-line. Yeah, the 49ers don't have the most skilled or dynamic offensive line. They don't. And I would love to come on here and tell you that I break down hours of offensive line tape, but I don't. So you won't hear like any grandiose statements about the offensive line because I don't break down tape. I watch the games. I know Trent Williams is legit when he's healthy. You know, Puna, the rookie out of Kansas that they penciled in, that has done a damn good job. But the nuances of offensive line, I can't really speak to that. I didn't play offensive line. I played defensive line, and I played tight end. But yeah, I don't think the 49ers will get blown out. I don't think they're going to win either. I want to go back and talk about the firing of Mike Brown. And for those of you who listen to this program, you guys know I've been saying for months, am I right? I've been saying for months that Mike Brown was probably going to get fired. Now, the stipulations that I put on his firing is not making the playoffs. Dude got fired 32 games into the season. Not even the All-Star break. Now, why am I not surprised? A couple of reasons. First and foremost, when an owner says to you that you're worth X amount and you say that you're worth Y and you're winning public opinion, when you're winning the public opinion battle and they acquiesce and pay you the money that you wanted, or at the very least more than they wanted to pay you, all the equity, all the warm feelings that you might have built ownership is gone. Now you might say, well, Red, are these billionaire owners that petty? Yeah, they are. Yes, they are. Because it's a control dynamic. There's probably no other aspect of Babbitt Ranadav's life in which he loses those type of negotiations. So in his mind, he had created an expectation for the Sacramento Kings to meet. And if they didn't meet those, that made him salty. Secondly, they got player accountability problems. They've always had player accountability problems. It doesn't mean that the players are bad people, because they're not. I'm sure if we hung around them, we would like them. But they got player accountability issues. And the Kings have had those issues for a long period of time. Every player that has spoke about Mike Brown's dismissal has been professional. You would think they didn't know anything about it. Oh, I didn't know anything about it. But if you listen to De'Aaron Fox interview, it's kind of telling. He was like, well, in this industry, we all get paid. Missing the elephant in the room. No, dude. Getting paid is kind of the icing on the cake. Coaches don't sign contracts to get fired. They love their job just like you do. And if your coach feels that he can't coach you to the max because you're not going to be receptive to that, then he can't win. You're the best player on the team. Every day I wake up, I go, whoa. Steve Kerr must have like a little plate, like a shrine of Stephen Curry, like on the wall or something. Can you imagine what it must feel like to coach a player like Stephen Curry? One of the top 10 players of all time, and have him be like the model professional, notwithstanding the left-handed, passes across court. Stephen Curry has allowed Steve Kerr to be great. I mean, it has to be one of the most wonderful opportunities and coaching experiences that any coach has ever had in the history of the NBA. Kind of like Pat Riley coaching Magic Johnson. Or you might say Popovich coaching Tim Duncan. Phil and Mike. The bottom line is your best player has to allow him or herself to be coached. And they got to be willing to take the responsibility for the losses. It can't be all. That last game in which De'Aaron Fox fouled the three-point shooter against Detroit, Ivy, and he made the 4-point play. What would have been appropriate is to go to the podium and say, listen, before my coach gets out here, this is on me. I'm taking 100% responsibility for this loss. This is on me. I'm going to do better. My coach should not be in a position of trying to explain what I was supposed to do. That is on me. It's not uncommon for Stephen Curry to say, you know what? I need to play better, and I will. I need to play better. I mean, that's the type of basketball that I'm used to watching. I root for all these guys. I really do. But I like the Sacramento Kings fans more than I like the team. They're the ones that show up. They should have won a championship in the early 2000s. I don't have any confidence right now that there are anything close to making a deep playoff run. I don't think people understand how monumental Harrison Barnes was to that organization. Because he was a great player? No. He's a good player. But his level of accountability is on 10. Who are the grown-ups in the room at this point? And I'm like, yo, man, Doug Christie, we all love Doug Christie. I think Doug Christie's going to do the best that he can do. But to put Doug Christie in a position where he has to come and, quote, be a savior and prove that he deserves to be the head coach over the next 3 years, it's totally unfair. He has to go up against Steve Kerr, Ty Lue, Jeff Van Gundy, Brian Shaw, Michael Malone, Coach Bud. Give me a freaking break. It's not going to happen. Firing Mike Brown was one of the worst things that this organization's ever done. If I'm the owner, I have no problem trading my best player. I'm trading him. And I'm probably going to trade him because he didn't sign the extension anyway, which kind of puts the organization in limbo. Man, I would have been on the phone to Houston so fast to talk about getting Green and Reed Shepherd in a package. I would have done everything I could do to accommodate D Fox. And I would try to, not be emotional about it. No, I'm like, dude, where do you want to go? But we would have taken the lead. I would have called Houston, and maybe they called Houston. Maybe they did. But for those that don't know Reed Sheppard, he's not playing a lot for Ime Udoka. Reed Sheppard is an awesome player. He's so Sacramento. And to have Green, a legit star at 2 guard, and De'Aaron Fox probably would have, solidified Houston and helped them. But I would not have played this nice little game of patty cake. I would not have done that. I would have kept Mike Brown as my coach. He's a top 12 coach in the league. And you got to pay him for the next 3 years at what, $30 million? Help me make sense of this. God awful. I'm gonna throw this in because it's par for the course. Dave Cabell, president of the A's, resigns. The head stooge in charge is stepping down. You want to make me mad? Bring up the Oakland A's. They not only just lost the great Ricky Henderson, everybody and their mama, anybody past the age of 10 with just a little bit of common sense and some information would draw the conclusion that the A's going to a desert is a colossal mistake. The fact that Sacramento is even helping these guys, this organization, pisses me off. I wish Sac would have said, hell no. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go somewhere else. No, we're not going to be used by the Oakland A's. We're not going to be used. Cabell's like, yo, I did what I was supposed to do. I did all of the things that you don't want to do as an owner. Give me my money and I'm out. Never to be heard of again, probably. Vicky says, fire someone in their car when they have been in the building all day. It's no class. I got to take on that. I totally agree with you, though. That's why I love Draymond. He is all about accountability. Yes, he is. The A's, another no-class organization. Now, Vicky, this is what I think happened with Mike Brown. And I think it was more circumstance, and they panicked. They didn't know how to deal with it. Imagine if Mike Brown had have gone to Los Angeles and actually won the game against the Lakers, and then they wanted to fire him. Common sense tells you that Sacramento had made the decision to fire Mike Brown after the game against Detroit. But what I surmise is the lawyers did not have the paperwork done right. The paperwork wasn't done. So all the I's and all the dots and all the contract language about how much money he's going to get and all of that stuff had not been completed. So they had to drag it out. Somebody picked the phone up from the law offices and said, it's done. And the circumstance just had him en route to the airport. And as much as they're being ridiculed now, Imagine if the Kings had beat the Lakers and were on their way back to Sacramento, and then you fire him. So they felt that they were going to lose an already crappy public opinion battle. And they just said, you know what? We're the Kings. We've done this before. People know that we're a horrible organization. Let's fire him. But the reason why this kind of got out of whack is because the paperwork wasn't done. That's clear. You know, that's legal 101. So that's what happened. And then they said, are we paying this guy $30 million over the next 3 years? We don't care if we are inconveniencing him a little bit. We don't care. If I had any money, I would bet that, and I think that's what happened. Aussie Rules, what's up? Hi, Frank. Hey, hi, Vicky. Aussie Rules, man, we got a lot of stuff out there tonight, man. What do you think about? What's the sports take on your mind right now that you've been thinking about, or as you pissed off, or none of the above? Because this is a hot place to be right now in Northern California. A lot of things are happening, not all for good reasons. But the firing of Mike Brown, it isn't woe is me for Mike Brown. I feel sorry for the fans. I feel sorry for the fans because the Kings are not going to recover from this year. They're just not. They're not. Bad. My man Key says, what's up, Frank? R.I.P. Ricky Henderson. He was special as a person and player. One of the greatest baseball players of all time. Legend. No doubt about it. Let me throw in Greg Gumbel also. Brian Gumbel's brother. We lost one of the great black broadcasters of all time who opened a ton of doors. I mean, we see people taking advantage of opportunities now, and they walk in like, hey, I must be in the front row. And the reality is we've come a long way in a very short period of time. Greg Gumbel was one of the people who, seeing a black person on television doing sports in a leadership role, normal. He normalized that. Like his brother did on network television covering news. So I'm not ready to give a sermon, but I do want to acknowledge Greg Gumbel. Everybody who I talked to, well, actually I haven't talked to anybody, but everything that I've read says that he was a great guy. One of my friends up in Sacramento, the great Jody Bacon, actually put a tweet out there earlier this week, and I guess Jody knows him. Jody's worked with him for years, and she spoke to what a great person he was, his personality, and how he loved his family, all positive attributes. So I just want to acknowledge him, and I also want to acknowledge Jimmy Carter, man. Jimmy Carter, former president of the United States, who died at 100. I think he died today or yesterday, but he was 100 years old. And I grew up as a child being aware of Jimmy Carter as president. And to me, he's the one president that is revered more in his post-White House tenure as president than he was during his tenure as president. I find that fascinating, and I find that very noble that although he did not have the best run as a president of the United States, he wasn't the most popular, that didn't stop him. That just simply gave him a platform to do all the wonderful things that he wanted to do as a civilian. Building thousands of homes for people all around the world, feeding people. always having a smile on his face. I salute Jimmy Carter. Thank you for your service, sir. RC Rule says, should Purdy sit the final game? Afraid he gets hurt before O-line play. I say no. I say he should play. The last picture that I want to see of Brock Purdy is him playing well. Now, if he goes out in the first half and it's getting crazy out there, then take him out. But I think he should give it a go. I do think he should give it a go. This is Monday Night Football. I don't want to see Josh Dobbs, playing whirly-dirly football, Brandon Allen. I don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to see that. Only for one half. I want to see Brock Purdy, duplicating what he did last week between him and Debo. I want to see him be the quarterback on the field when George Kittle gets his 4th 1,000-yard season. And I want to see a positive expression of him playing football so he can get his money. Colorado Buffalo football team. I mean, I carry the bullhorn when Coach Prime is doing well, and because I'm fascinated by the Colorado Buffaloes, and I like it. I love their story. I love to see them do well, and I have to show up and speak to what took place yesterday. They laid an egg. What a build-up. You got the Heisman Trophy winner, the alleged best quarterback in the nation, and they got pummeled by BYU. It's not a good showing. And it just goes to show you that they're not there yet. And that was a real disappointment for me. Is it devastating? No, it's not. But because I think they've set the standard, and I want to see them continue to build on that standard for next year. There was some scary thoughts out there that Coach Prime might be leaving. That would have upset me to no other. The fact that he's coming back, the fact that they got a strong nucleus of players coming back to the Big 12, I want to see them duplicate the success that they had this year. But I wanted to see Shedeur, Shiloh, and the Heisman Trophy winner go out with a bang. And they didn't do it. Pretty sad, pretty bad. Vicky says, he's not going to play well against Detroit. I'm sorry. It's too much to ask Brock to do. Kittle has to block. Well, what's funny, Vicky? I just heard multiple commentators say today that since the injuries that Detroit has suffered, they're not putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback right now. So that ferocious pass rush that they had at the beginning of the year, I don't know if they have right now. So I don't know if it's so dangerous for Brock to be out there. We'll see. Kuminga's recent play, thoughts? I've been frustrated by Steve Kerr's handling of Jonathan Kuminga for a long period of time because I'm a coach and because I know what it feels like to be the immature player with rabbit ears. Okay? Steve Kerr's biggest challenge to me is he wants to coach him like he's a college kid. He's not a college kid. He's a pro. Is he ready to assume the responsibility that he think he is? No, I don't think no. Is he getting there? Absolutely. But this yo-yo effect of playing him, not playing him, I hate that. The only thing that's different about Jonathan Kuminga now is he's playing. That's it. That's it. There's no secret formula that the Warriors are using now. No voodoo dolls or, sophisticated. No, he's on the court. It's been proven. When Jonathan Kuminga plays 30 minutes plus, he averages 20 points a game. So, like Steve Kerr says, I have to continue to coach him. I agree with that. And I think he's going to continue to coach him. But I think that there were some mistakes made. Kuminga's rope has been a lot shorter than some other players on the team who has played worse than he has at times. And yet they still play. The one thing as a player, you're always assessing your situation to somebody else's. You can say that it's immature. It is immature. But everybody doesn't start from the same place. I mean, I think there are some coaches who would have gotten more out of Kuminga faster than Steve Kerr has gotten from him. Steve Kerr's still great. But I think he needs to recognize that, I got a diamond. Why do you think teams are calling the words about Kuminga? Because they want him. He's box office. Beyond Stephen Curry. And you might say Draymond. But I'll say beyond Stephen Curry, who is the player that you're most excited to watch? It's Jonathan Kuminga. Not brain surgery. We all know this. Finally, Kerr's letting Kuminga play. Should have been second option from the start. It's only obvious. Yeah, sometimes, you know what? Sometimes fans and people who don't have national shows actually know what they're watching. Fans know a lot about basketball. I agree with you, Keith. Colorado played horribly. Yes, they did. Are you going to see the Olympic movie about the women boxer? I saw it, Vicky. The Fire Inside. I don't think I have time to review it, but I saw it and I like it. I like it for a lot of reasons, though. I think I'm gonna wait until maybe midweek when I come on to give it the thorough review that it deserves. But Carissa Shields is just a marvel in the ring. Her story is made of legends, and it's an example of great triumph, inspiration, and a little frustration also. But yeah, check that movie out if you haven't seen it already. I saw it. It's very good. When they ask Kerr about Kuminga playing so well, he points out a pass he made to Steph. I don't care if his passing is the worst part of his game. He's our best two-way player. You know, it's interesting. I don't know if he is or not, but he's getting better defensively real fast. He really is. He's really getting better. And his passing is getting better. I think that's a key component to his ascension as a player. But that does not excuse Kerr for not playing him throughout the season. For that guy to sit on your bench and play 15, 16 minutes a game, it's ridiculous. Hopefully we're over that. Very, very quick review of a movie that I saw this weekend. I saw a couple of movies, but I saw A Complete Unknown, which is basically a biopic for Bob Dylan. And if you're really, really young, you might not know who Bob Dylan is. If you are, I don't know, under 60, you probably don't know him that well either. I'm a music head. You know, I'm an artist myself, and I love music. And I remember We Are the World and thinking to myself, who is the guy with the horrible voice, with the kind of afro? Who is that guy? So that's Bob Dylan. And then I started to discover Bob Dylan's music and his journey as a singer-songwriter. This movie basically covers his beginning into the singer-songwriter genre to the mid-1960s when that genre was going away, to the extent that it was not popular music anymore. Rock and roll, Motown, the Beatles, electric guitars were about to explode. And the movie basically is about Bob Dylan's fight with his fans to continue to evolve as an artist. That's what the movie was about. So independence is one of the themes of this movie. A complete unknown, excuse me. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. The young lady who plays Joan Baez in the movie, Monica Barbaro, whoa, she jumps off the screen. She and Timothy both were doing singing and both sang in the movie, and they both did extremely well. But her portrayal as Joan Baez, I think it's outstanding. I think she's going places. You ever see somebody who's strikingly beautiful or attractive, and that gets in the way of them doing stuff or being legitimate? Not her. Monica Barbaro is not only very attractive, she can act and act extremely well. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I think she might be a potential Bond girl. All right? So keep that in mind. Draymond sometimes looks like he's throwing a football. When he's upset with officials, I tend to agree with you. All right, let me say this, y'all. He says, I think it's ridiculous playing Purdy with no O-line. If he gets hurt seriously, Lynch needs to get fired. Makes no sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should be on the field with non-players. I'm not saying that. But I don't want to see Mordecai, Hobbs, or Brian Allen on the field. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see the 49ers lose by 40 points on Monday Night Football. So I'm willing to play it by ear. That's my compromise. My compromise is I'm willing to play it by ear. All right, so I'm going to clue you guys in on something. Over the past week or so, I've had my wonderful mother in town to visit me. And I'm usually doing the traveling. It doesn't happen very often. So you can imagine how happy and ecstatic I was to just have an opportunity to chop it up with her every day. To love on her and have her love on me, and just enjoy each other's company, because we don't get a chance to do it very often, although we are extremely close. And it's now time to help her get ready to go back home. So I'm going to end the show a little earlier tonight because that's part of my duty as a great son, and that's what I need to do. All right? So as a result, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to wait until next Sunday. I'm going to come in. Maybe I'll do a pop-up show tomorrow night, but I'll definitely pop in the week. We can talk about the Warriors. The 49ers will have played Detroit. We have something to talk about. And I will review The Fire Inside, the new Carissa Shields biopic. Great independent movie. well. Last week, you guys hit the like button, and I reached 10 likes. First time I've ever done that. I would love to duplicate that. So I can't see the numbers now, but if you like this show, hit the like button, please. All right? If you are not a subscriber to the program, then hit the subscribe button if you like to. It definitely helps the program. All right? With that said, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get out of here. Success in getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. All right? My name is Frank Red, everybody. It's a pleasure and an honor to do a show with you and for you. And I look forward to doing more in the future. This is holiday season. Be careful. There's so many things happening every day that are unforeseen, that are not nice. I want everybody to be able to check me out and have me have the opportunity to check you out. So be safe, all right? Be safe out there. Vicky says, take care, Frank. Enjoy your mom. I am. My man Key says, happy holidays, Frank. Thank you for the show. I appreciate everybody. Good night. Peace.